Hi, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is agree. Let's look at some definitions. The first definition is to have the same opinion or feeling about something. And the second definition I have today is to give an okay to do something that has been suggested by another. Agree is a regular verb. To make it progressive, all we need to do is add ing. And to form the past tense and the participle forms, all we need to do is add a D. So we're not going to add an ed, otherwise that would make 3 E's in a row. And I don't think you see that in any word in English. Let's look at some phrasal verbs next. The first phrasal verb you might hear with the verb agree is agree on or agree upon. Both of these have the same meaning, which is to have the same opinion about something. So it's very common to, or similar to that first definition we looked at. Here's an example sentence. The musicians don't agree on the way this piece of music should be played. Another phrasal verb you might hear is agree to, and it means to accept, approve, or promise to follow something. So here, it used in an example sentence, her manager agreed to her request. So the manager in this case has accepted or approved or promised to do something that the employee has requested. Another phrasal verb you might hear is agree with. It means to have the same opinion as someone else. Here it is used in 2 sentences. I agree with your mother. It's a bad idea to stay out late on a school night. Agree with can have another meaning. And that meaning is to be the same as something. Here it is in an example sentence. Your answer agrees with the key in the back of the book. So here, the answer a student has is the same as the answer that is suggested by the book. Let's look at agree used in some different verb tenses. Today we'll look at the simple present, present perfect, and the simple future. Let's start with simple present. And when we're talking about something in the simple present, we're talking about facts, we're talking about habits, or routines. In the affirmative, I have a sentence here. He always agrees with his wife. Okay, so that is his habit or routine. And you'll notice here I'm adding an S to the verb because my subject is he. And in the simple present affirmative, we always want to do that with subjects like he, she, and it. There is no S with I, you, we, or they. Let's look at negative. To make the negative, we're going to use does not or do not and a base verb in the simple present. Here's an example sentence. She doesn't agree with the mayor's decision. If my subject had been they or you, I would have used don't agree with. Okay? And if we want to make a yes or no question in the simple present, all we need to do is change the order of do or does and the subject. Here's an example. Do they agree upon anything? Okay. Now let's look at the present perfect. We use this verb tense many times to talk about things that happened at an indefinite time in the past, or things that have started in the past and continue into the present. To make the present perfect, we're going to use has and agreed or have and agreed, depending on what our subject is. Here's an example sentence. Their answers have agreed to mine. So at some point in the past, or maybe we're talking that this is an event that's happened many times over a period of time. In the negative, all we need to do is add not to has or have. And most native speakers, you'll hear them use the contraction form. He hasn't agreed with any of her opinions. And if we want to make a question, we need to change the order of our subject and the have or has. Here's an example. Have you agreed to go shopping for them? Finally, let's look at simple future. Today, all of my examples are going to use will, but that is not the only way to make use or show future tense in English. The reason I'm using will with these is because most of my sentences here are going to be predictions. So let's take a look. The nice thing about using will is that it's going to stay the same no matter what the subject is. So, here's an example in the affirmative. They will agree on a new date for the game that works for both teams. If we want to make a negative statement in the future, all we need to do is add not after will, and the contraction for that is won't. She won't agree with the decision. If we want to make a question for the future, again, we need to change the order of will and our subject. Here's an example. Will the children agree to practice their math for 30 minutes? Finally, today, let's look at a few words that have the same base as our verb of the day, agree. The first word I have for you is a noun. It's agreement. It can have a couple different meanings. The first meaning, it could be harmony in opinion or feeling. So again, having that same opinion or same feeling as someone else. But sometimes the word agreement can mean contract. Here's an example of agreement used in a sentence. The leaders failed to reach an agreement. Okay. So this could be sort of a verbal harmony in opinion, or it could be a contract, a legal agreement. Okay. Another related word is the verb disagree. And dis is a prefix that comes from Latin. It could mean not or opposite. It could also mean away. But here it has this not meaning to it. So disagree means to have or express a different opinion or different feeling. Used in a sentence, she disagreed with her daughter's decision. So you can see we made the past tense there the same way we made past tense with the verb agree. All we did is add D to the end. Another word that's related is an adjective, agreeable. It means enjoyable and pleasant, or it could also mean willing to agree. Here is that adjective used in a question. Is the plan agreeable to you? Okay. Another related adjective is disagreeable. And again, we see that same prefix, so it will not surprise you that it means not pleasant or not enjoyable. It can also mean unfriendly. Here is an example sentence. My neighbor is a disagreeable person. And this is just a pretend sentence in case this video gets shared in my local community. I have no person in mind, just an example. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Feel free to practice your sentences in the comment section below. I'll take a look and offer some feedback. Have a wonderful day.